What is an adult problem you were not prepared for? The utter soul-crushing search for a job. Same. I was out of work for years due to severe illness, then spent 8 months looking for any job possible but getting rejected every time. I had finally gotten 2 interviews lined up and then coronavirus hit and they got cancelled. It's entirely possible to lose your job through no fault of your own. Losing people, loved ones passing away is the hardest. Then there's the nasty breakdown of personal relationships, family relationships and friendships. Then there's the sad drifting apart that happens when life takes you on a different path to a person you were once really close to. Realizing that not even your parents have all the answers. And finally understanding that they were just figuring it out as they went, just like we are. Not having an all-knowing figure to give you the answers to all your problems is the pits, and I hate it. Not being able to leave a job you hate because you might just become homeless without it. The endless teeny tiny implications of adult freedom. You have your own medical insurance plan now, you need to pick a primary care physician. Okay, who should I pick? Up to you, but like, where should I start? How do I know which doctor to choose? Up to you, how do other people find one? They just pick the one they like. I don't know any of these doctors. I felt like this when I got hired and had to choose withholdings for taxes, and what health insurance to choose. No freaking guidance whatsoever. Being able to not cook the same meal every day while balancing hundreds of other tasks. I will always admire my mom for how she was able to cook, have a clean house, work 43 hours and help her children do homework, all while taking time to work out at the end of every day. I could mention other common problems like money management and common tasks that I haven't mastered, but what really hit me like a train was the actual transition of adulthood. I am talking about having to make my own appointments and having to keep tabs on myself instead of handing every single document to my mom. I realized how unorganized I was when I found my birth certificate in the same drawer where I have junk receipts. I realized how unorganized I was when I found my birth certificate in the same drawer where I have junk receipts. Hi. I'd like to return this child. Yes, I know he's 30 years past the return date. Can I speak to the manager? Pain. Arthritis is fucking horrible, and early onset autoimmune arthritis is worse than just having an ache in 1 or 2 joints. I heard all the time, everywhere, and everyone just assumes you're faking it or you're a pill popper. I am not going to live another 20 years with this pain like my dad did. And the worst part is when people say, you're too young to have arthritis. Yeah, I agree. I am way too young to have this shit. Still got it though. Dealing with your parents acting like children. My parents have always acted like children, however as a child I was blind to this. Now as an adult I realize how immature and lost my parents actually are. I realized my mom, I am an only child, was just a big kid herself 20 years ago. What shocks me is that almost everyone's parents become younger when they don't have kids to raise. This includes myself. Not being able to sleep due to stress. Yet here I lay, exhausted but wide awake. When I was younger I could sleep anytime, anywhere. Pro tip. If you don't fall asleep within 30 minutes, get out of bed. Otherwise you'll associate your bed with lying awake. Furthermore, you could actually do something. You're gonna be tired tomorrow anyway, so why not do the dishes, clean the toilet or organize your living room? Just any small task for 15 to 30 minutes. You'll feel good because you did it, your bed cools down, so when you get in you have something to be proud of and your bed is cool. This has helped me many times. I've also walked a lot in the middle of the night. Lying awake sucks big time, especially because of stress, but making your home a better place by cleaning and organizing helps a lot. Not too long ago I was waking up at 2 a.m. and just laying there for 2 hours tossing and turning thinking about all the world's problems. So I decided to outsmart my own brain. When that happened I vowed to get out of bed and go run. Which I know from experience I hate doing. So my brain learned that if I was going to wake up at 2 o'clock it was going to have to go running. And eventually, not wanting to do that, I quit waking up at 2 a.m. Going from having tons of friends to really having no one. Even the few you have, if they get married and start popping out kids before you? Shit. I was a groomsman at my buddy's wedding and haven't seen him face to face in 2 years. First kid, back to college for his master's degree, house renovations have all kept him on lockdown. And now quarantine right when he finished his degree. Having a presentable place, and debating myself on why it matters. It always frustrated me when my parents had a guest over and we had to deep clean the whole house. Like if it's my close friend of 8 years visiting, why do I care what they care about my cleanliness? And yet, Every time people are over I find myself cleaning the apartment up for some reason. First thing you say is, "Excuse the mess." How often you have to clean to maintain a clean house? Not only clean, maintenance in general. I just found spot of mold in my garage and have to pull out what feels like half a wall. My husband just pointed out tonight that we have a damn vine growing through a window and is now attached to the living room ceiling. It's an old house, but what the hell? Back hurting just from sleeping wrong. And from sitting wrong and from doing housework and yard work and from picking up dogs or kids or whatever life requires. Never reach for anything in the back seat, especially if it is just a little bit further. You didn't stretch before your workout? Sorry, back pain for days. You overstretched before your workout? Sorry, back pain for days. You perfectly stretched before your workout? Sorry, arm pain for days. How expensive living is. I worked all through high school, but my only bill was the gas I put in my car. 30 hours a week on minimum wage goes a long way on shopping sprees in nail salons when you don't have any other expenses. I developed nasty spending habits, not the value of a hard-earned dollar my parents were hoping for. I'm not in crippling debt or anything, but sometimes having to spend money on groceries or utilities depresses me more than it rationally should. Yeah, when you're in high school having a few $100s makes you feel loaded. You can buy whatever game you want and do whatever with friends, but as an adult hundreds of dollars is just enough to buy groceries and gas. The constant obsessive feeling that I'm fast running out of time to have an enjoyable life even though I'm only in my 20s. I'm 40, that feeling is real and you should listen to it. Do it now, you might not get the chance later. My great-grandmother said that she and my great-grandfather promised they would always take a cruise around the world after they retired. It never happened because life got in the way. But they could have done it when they were younger. Don't ruin yourself financially, but if you can do that crazy thing you always wanted to do, go do it. Make it happen. Edit. Let me be clear. Don't run off and put yourself in a bad situation. But if you can stretch yourself and spend a year overseas or build that car or live in that place, do it. Don't put yourself in $100,000 of debt you can't afford to have a good time. Having others rely on you as an emotional ballast. I can barely stay sane myself, let alone carry the weight of someone else's sanity. When I was young, death seemed very romantic. The idea of everyone being so sad about you being gone and regretting every wrong against you. Now I have way too many responsibilities to die. I have seen how loss really affects the people I love and would never want to subject them to that. How expensive lamps are, and floor rugs, and couch pillows. $15 to $20 is standard for one pillow? The lack of time for myself. Life is all work, housework, yard work, childcare, bills, emails, phone calls. What's funny is that I have so much more free time now as an adult, single with no kids. That I know of, and it still doesn't feel like enough. No homework, no silly adult projects, renovating bathrooms, etc. No extracurriculars that take up a load of time, and yet every night once I'm done eating dinner it's like damn it I have to go to bed in a few hours. Falling in love at an older age but watching life speed by so fast. Wished I'd met her 30 years ago. All the choices you made led you to that love though. You could say the same about my hernia. Adults never actually growing up. Yay this. I used to look at 30-year-olds and be like, they got it figured out. Now I am 30, I feel as useless as I did when I was 17. Almost 50 still working on my shit. I do have more money now, though. This is a big one for me. I really thought people would grow up, mature. They don't. Too many adults are really just teenagers. My 50-year colleagues act worse than kids. The serious and most mature people are in their 20s. At my workplace at least. Sustaining motivation to continue my responsibilities such as money and shelter. The increasing speed of passing years. Having nieces only makes the problem worse. Their age and the perceived number of years passed doesn't align at all for me. That's actually something your brain does. As you get older your perception of time quickens. In some sense, time literally starts to go faster as you age. Remember how long things took when you were a kid? I think time goes by faster for me is because I spend too much time working and not noticing about everything else around me. When I do have time to stop and breathe, that's when I noticed a month has passed. Already? I thought that was last week. I am in my 20s. Drifting away from school friends because moving away, but then struggling to make new friends in a new city. I have a friend from high school that I really do love to hang and talk with still. When I moved to college 2 hours away, we barely saw each other. When I graduated and moved only 40 minutes away, I swore I would visit more often. But I also then had a job that ate up my time. I ended up seeing her even less now despite living closer. It's so frustrating. Keeping everything balanced in your 20s is so damn hard. You have to buy insurance but can never use the insurance or else no one will sell you insurance. Fuck. Using insurance too. I've been fighting for the last 3 months because my homeowners refuses to acknowledge storm damage to my roof. I swear they've spent more trying not to cover the damage than if they would have just fixed things. Advice to other homeowners out there. Never let an insurance adjuster look at your roof before a qualified roofer has. And make sure that roofer is present when the adjuster comes. If their adjuster misses things they will fight like hell before admitting a mistake. Turns out, you get fat from overeating. Bread makes you fat. How quickly fruits and vegetables actually go bad when you buy them yourself. Trying to make friends. Being social as an adult is rough, especially when your friends start moving away or having kids. Yeah, my social circle completely disbanded. We were a tight-knit few, but then one moved overseas to be with the love of his life and the other two moved interstate in opposite directions, and being the introvert that I am, I don't find socializing with strangers an enjoyable experience or an easy way to make new friends. Realizing some friends are shitty and you shouldn't be friends with them anymore. This right here. Shitty friends don't seem that bad when you're in high school, you see a bit more of toxic behavior in college, and then once you're in the real world you realize that type of energy isn't worth having in your life. No one telling you to stop procrastinating. Having to have a genuine purpose in life. My job is destroying my mental health, but I need a job so I can pay my bills. If I reduce my hours for better work-life balance, I lose my insurance during a global pandemic. This one right in the feels. My doctor has been telling me for about a year and a half that I should really be on disability because of my mental health, but I can't afford to wait for 2 years through the inevitable denial, reapply phase, and I also can't afford my income being cut by 75%. So, I'll just be over here, trying to keep my head above water when I really don't know how to swim. Preparing for retirement. Of course everyone knows they will stop working at some point, but now that I'm 40, it feels like I really need to get it together. Am I going to continue bad habits that negatively impact my health, or will I finally make changes to be healthier later? My new favorite worry, will I really have enough money to retire and live comfortably enough to have a good of quality life? 10 years ago this all seemed so far away. Now, it feels like I'm speeding to the next phase of my life. I'll be working up until noon on the day of my funeral. Deciding what to eat for 3 meals a day 7 days a week. In this direct vein, how expensive cheese is. Gross pay versus net pay, holy shit. Also, still haven't gotten my first stimulus check. Aging parents. Just how hard it is to lose weight once you're past your 20s. Cliques and bullies are just as bad in the office as they were in school. Being sued.